Hi, I'm Simon Hope and welcome to the KS YouTube channel. I would like to speak about my different carbide tools, the different sizes, what applications they're used for, and just to perhaps help you in picking what tool's right for you. So we'll start with the biggest one, which is the 10mm. It's on a square shaft and is designed to go into a handle system. It's dual machine, so it will go into a 10mm or 13mm handle. This is the first tool that I designed and discovered shortly after that actually some of the smaller carbides, they act differently, but there's still a purpose for the 10mm. So generally, the smaller the tip, the sort of easier it is to cut. The bigger the tip, the more likelihood that it might dig in, and that's why on certainly the 8mm and 10mm, it's on a square bar, so it always puts it at the right 45-degree safe angle. So the reasons you might want to use a 10mm today is because of the larger bevel. If you're doing sort of larger open forms, it's actually better to get a nice constant large curve because it's got a larger bevel. For instance, the 6mm is so tiny that you just cannot get a really smooth large surface, but it's great for just getting rid of the timber. So each one works slightly different, has its own purpose, and we'll just do a little bit of turning with each one just to hopefully guide you in choosing which tool is right for you. Now, generally speaking, when we do any sort of hollowing, I find it much easier just to use a drill bit with a drill chuck and just drill the centre out first. These tools will cut on centre, but it just makes it a whole lot easier if you just drill the centre out first. So let's show you the 10mm. This tool you'd use if you're doing larger open forms, and I'll just show you how that cuts. The carbide tools like a faster speed, so somewhere around about 1500 RPM or even higher is perfect. With this tool, it's really important that you leave it flat on the rest. Do not tilt because you'll have a dig in, but as long as you leave it flat on the rest, you'll be absolutely fine. So hopefully you could see, as we were cutting, because it has that large bevel, this is really straight across here. There's no sort of ridges, and it just leaves a larger curve. It cuts nice and clean for that larger curve. That's why you would use a 10mm. So let me show you my 8mm carbide. One of my sort of best-selling tools is this one, which I call the MCT, Mini Carbide Tool. Again, it's on a square bar, it has a rubber grip so you don't have to buy a handle for it, and it's a great tool just to pick up and use for boxes, what I normally say around this sort of size, so sort of 6 inches is what it can cope with. Now the 8mm is a good in-between, not too big, not too small, so it has its own little sort of sweet spot, and we do a sort of 8mm heavy duty, and the heavy duty is the size of the bar. Still the 8mm tip, but it's much easier to keep that flat on the rest, especially when you're going very deep into hollowing. You also have the handle on there for leverage. So I normally put it in a medium handle, and then that's quite a heavy duty tool to use. And generally you can go down to about sort of 2/3 of the length of the bar, so round about here, which is about 12 to 14 inches deep, quite comfortably. So let's do some cuts with that and just show you how that works. Again, this one you just pick up and use. So this one cuts quicker than the 10mm, but you'll notice it doesn't leave quite a flat surface as the 10mm. So this you now have to sort of use your pivot action and control, but still very great for just taking out the centre and hollowing. The 8mm heavy duty. Let me just show you some cuts with that. Again, you just have the added support of the width of that, just to keep it completely grounded. I mean, straight away I can feel the difference in the security of keeping that flat on the rest, certainly for when you're going in much deeper. So yeah, a really nice tool to use actually. So now we're going to talk about the 6mm. This one's great for boxes. It's on a straight shaft. There's also a hook version available if you're making small hollow forms this sort of size, like sort of Christmas decorations. The reason the 6mm is on a round bar, because it's now so tiny, you can safely operate it upright. You can't do that with the 8 and 10mm because it would just dig in too much. But you do need a little bit of control with these. They're more really for the, let's say, more experienced turner, because you have to operate and know where the cutter is and sort of acknowledge the extra leverage that's involved when you have it fully upright. But once you gain that experience and get grips to this tool, it just takes the timber out so much quicker than the other tools. So this is my PCT Pro Carbide Tool. You can buy it without the rubber grips to go into the hollowing rig. You can buy it with the grips and just use it like so. Or you could actually just take the grips off and just add it into a handle system, and then you've really got some sort of bit of kit for deeper work. There's also a hook available for this, which I use personally if I'm sort of hollowing out spheres. That extra hook just gets you around the corner and to do the undercut. So I'm going to show you both of these, but we'll start with the handled version first, the small, what I call the box set version. You can buy it separately or in a box set with the hooked, and I call it the box set 6mm carbide. So now, generally when I sort of start to use this, I can sort of see it's in line with the grub screw, so visually I can know where that is. And I always start over at 45 first of all. So at 45, it cuts very nicely, cuts quite quickly, but now I can actually start to twist that. See how I've twisted that? And now I can actually take some really big cuts. So, tiny tip, but just look how much material it can actually take away. So this one in the big handle, exactly the same tip, but now we have the extra strength for the bigger bar up here. You can put this in line with your arm and really designed for doing much deeper work. So hopefully you could see with that last clip how quick the little 6mm actually cut, but also the different variations and why you might choose a different sized tool. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me use these on many videos across the whole wide range of videos that I've made, and we look forward to seeing you next time.